YouTube, it's your boy. Just send the cheat sheet. Hey, yo, cheat sheet. But yeah, boys, it's a nice Monday morning here. Had a nice little Sunday night, you know, and got a little buzzed up. Got a little bit of everything in me, but I'm just glad to be here talking to you guys. I got these clips like last week while during the week I was just fucking going on an absolute tear, and these people spawns on Gibraltar, dude. I miss just running through the spawns, man. When I used to know it like the back of my hand, I still do, obviously. If you watch me play, I just read these kids' spawns like a fucking book. I wish the one kid on their team, the kid I turn on coming up in a second, he was talking, he was actually funny. His comments were funny. I don't get why, like, the game audio randomly just doesn't record in this game. Like, I didn't change the settings, and it just, certain people just doesn't record. I don't fucking get it, bro. But just watch GG's in this game, but GG's gameplay is not the topic of this video. We have way more issues at hand here, boys, and it's an issue I stress more, especially I'm a white Caucasian American that grew up in Hunterdon County, New Jersey, and I've never really experienced like racism in my life, especially when it came to like actually being around enough black people to see racism. Another thing, like, I've been around white people that can be racist, but I just kind of look at them more like, you're just kind of fucking stupid, dude. Like, shut up. Like, I don't want to look at you, listen to you. Like, same thing, I'm kind of, like, very taboo about, like, watching older movies now, because now that I'm basically married and have a kid with an African-American person, it makes me feel very uneasy seeing how they were treated back in those days, and it makes me just wish I can change things that I have no control over. And it affected me a lot over these last couple weeks. Like, it really knocked me down 2 pegs, you know? It killed me. It kills me to see the world in the way it is, you know? Generations before us fought for these same issues, and you hear, you know, these rappers that they're talking in 2001, you hear in 1990, they're complaining about the same problems. And like this guy knew Chauvin, like Chauvin's knew George Floyd. Like he's ran into him before, and that's probably why he knew he was a little bit more violent and aggressive than a normal criminal, and maybe that's why he apprehended him in the way he did. But it in no means explains why he just didn't get off his neck and why he just continued to suffocate that poor man until he literally died at the hospital. And it just breaks my heart, and I. Like I said, I wouldn't really have as good of a perspective, but now that half of my family is now African American, and I love that, I appreciate that. It puts a better perspective on, well, what if that was my girlfriend's brother? You know, at the beginning we weren't always getting along at first because of just, you know, tension when I was just dating his little sister at first, you know, that's normal. But then we became friends over time, and I could never imagine something like that happening to him. Or anybody for that matter. I don't even need to be related to them to feel for them, you know, like, what the fuck is that cop doing? Even if that cop was an Asian cop or a different race cop, what the fuck is that cop doing? Like, abuse of power, and then the other fucking cops are just sitting there with their fucking thumb up their asses. It's like, that fucking Asian cop sitting on the street right next to him while he was dying, literally dying right next to him. He's just sitting there with a goofy smile on his face. See, kids, this is why you don't do drugs. That fucking Asian should be put in jail, too. And, you know, you see a lot of white people that are kind of getting frustrated with all the protesting, especially during the coronavirus epidemic. However, you don't see white people go out and do those things after a white person died in that kind of matter, because they know that, well, justice will be brought because this isn't a country founded on racism. However, if you're a black person, you don't get that feeling at all. You get no impression of that at all. Like, you're fighting for your lives out here, you know? Like, if you're not going out and making a huge scene, I don't agree with, like, the looting and the killing and all that. Like, I don't think anyone should lose their lives any more than they've already done, you know, just to prove a point. But you get nervous as, you know, someone that is black, like, well, will justice ever come in this country? Will anything ever change in this country? And I think, yes, I think things will get better in time. I think overall, race in general will be weaned out more issues over time. At think a lot of what this country needs is you need to treat people like they truly are your neighbor. And even if they're that loud neighbor that you really don't always get along with, or like, you still gotta be Christian and do the right thing to them. And if you see they're in trouble, you go and help them. I mean, obviously not everyone treats everyone as civilly as other people, but I think it really does make a difference. Especially like, you, as a father, you stay with your children, you protect that home and you provide for that home. And I think that if the differences in parents caring about what their kids do at night and making sure they're on top of their grades, on top of their schooling, I think that it's it's not as hard to bring change in certain areas of this world. It just takes the fundamental problem of, you saw your father before you treat your mom like that. You saw how he treated his wife like shit, so you're gonna do the same thing. Well, that's something that needs to end in this country, and you need to start really taking care of your kids and making sure that the best future is in front of them, and you bring them a better life than what you were used to. That is the American dream, and you should never forget that that's why everyone made it to this country, to bring better for their people.